We talk quite a bit inside the statistics around failed businesses. We hear some pretty startling numbers. One of the things that we talk about internally is that they're not necessarily failed businesses that go bankrupt.
No, true.
Often someone will start a business, but another opportunity will come along. It may be a better job that they had expected to get.
Yes.
It may be that they try and start a few small businesses at the same time and they go with the one that takes off. So,
yes.
2/3 of our customers don't actually borrow from us. They use us for transactional purposes and other purposes. I think the failure rate, I sense that it might be overstated a little bit.
It is, Mark. It's interesting. There's two sorts of failures. One is insolvency, if you're a proprietor limited or what they call an incorporated business. And the failure rate of incorporated businesses, and there's something like about, I think 700,000 of those in Australia, is only 1.25% a year.
Right.
Now, it's very low.
Yeah.
So as I said, we close down 13% of businesses a year, but only 1.25% of the companies actually are insolvent. And the same with business bankruptcies. In other words, if you're an unincorporated business like a sole trader or a partnership, the failure rate's exactly the same. It's about 1.25% a year, and we lose about 8,000 of those a year in business bankruptcies. So you're right. Most people close down without losing their shirt, if I can put it that way. But yes, the failure rate's not high compared to the closure rate.
Yeah, okay. So there is this myth about the number of small businesses that fail, and we come across that a lot, and it's very much a part of our conversation. And we find customers will move on to other things, they'll go back into employment, and it's not so much that they fail, it's just that they don't put the full weight of their effort behind it. So our sense overall is that it's overstated in terms of the number of small businesses that go into bankruptcy or actually lose money. What's your perspective?
Well, the same. It's interesting. The most common sized business in Australia is a firm that's turning over between $50,000 a year and $200,000 a year.
Right.
Now, I find that interesting because if you averaged out the whole 2.25 million businesses in Australia, the average would be about 2.2 million.
Right.
But that average goes up because of the really big giants averaging their turnover out over the rest of them, which means that a lot of the SMEs are down in that $50,000 to $200,000 bracket. And that partly explains the sort of mobility you're talking about, Mark, because often they're buying a job, I think is a term that's often used. In other words, don't like working for a boss, I'd rather be my own, charge my own destiny, and out they'll go. Now, sometimes they think, it's not all it's cut up to be. It's a pretty lonely business out there.
The hardest working people I know. It's
yes, it is.
A difficult job to buy.
It is, and so they think, and a lot of people start a consulting business, or they might go out and do a lawn mowing business, but they can't get the customers or something. So it means that they'll often exit the business without going broke at all.
Yeah.
Just to think, look, I've been there, I've had a go, but it doesn't work. There's not many that really fail in the sense that it's often made out to be in the media. It's not that at all.
Yeah.
And because most businesses today are service businesses, you're not stuck with an awful lot of capital buried in there, owning a building or whatever it might be, and equipment. You don't do that.
Yeah. So we've certainly seen that on the capital intensity side. A lot of the businesses just don't need as much capital to run their business. It's working capital facilities they absolutely need to keep the business going in the early days, but those big licks of funds and the obsession with property ownership probably won't go away in the short term in Australia, but it's seen more of a wealth creation strategy for a lot of our customers, and it's less critical to have that premises and that ownership to run their small business.